What happens after we die? It's a question that has pretty much haunted humanity since the beginning of time. But the ancient Egyptians, they had an answer, and it was woven into one of the most powerful stories ever told, the myth of Osiris. It's a tale of life, betrayal, and maybe most importantly, rebirth that shaped an entire civilization.
I mean, think about it. Every culture throughout history has grappled with this. But for the ancient Egyptians, the answer wasn't just some abstract philosophical idea. Oh no. It was this epic, grand, divine drama that played out among the gods themselves. And right at the heart of that whole drama is Osiris. Now, you've probably heard of him as, the god of the underworld. But that's only part of the story. His role was, well, it was so much more profound than that. He was the god of rebirth. He was the living, breathing promise that death wasn't the end of the road. But to really get a handle on his power over death, you've got to start with his mastery over life. See, long before he ruled the underworld, Osiris was this incredible, beloved king right here on Earth. People thought of his reign as a true golden age. Seriously, try to picture it. A world that's just figuring itself out. And Osiris, he was the one who taught people how to farm, how to live by laws, how to build a whole civilization. He literally took chaos and created order. And under his rule, the world didn't just survive, it flourished. But you know how these stories go. This kind of perfect world just couldn't last. All that prosperity, all that love people had for Osiris, it started to stir up this really dark, deep jealousy. And the worst part, it came from inside his own family, from his brother, Seth. I mean, you could not find two more opposite beings. Think of Osiris as the fertile Nile River, structured, dependable, the source of all life. And Seth, he was the harsh, unpredictable desert storm, the embodiment of chaos and envy. This was way more than just two brothers fighting. It was a cosmic battle for the very soul of the world. So completely consumed by this jealousy, Seth comes up with this just cruel plan. He tricks his brother, traps him in a chest, and throws him into the Nile. He murders him. And just like that, in one brutal moment, all the order Osiris had created was shattered. The king of life was dead. But this isn't where the story ends. Not even close. In fact, his death is the very thing that actually made him eternal. This is where we get to the miraculous rebirth. His wife, Isis, who, by the way, was an incredibly powerful magician, she just refused to let him go. She searched tirelessly for his body, and when she found it, she used all of her divine magic to bring him back. Now, it was just for a short time, just long enough for them to have a son, Horus, who'd grow up to avenge his dad. Osiris couldn't stay in the world of the living, but that brief revival gave him a whole new, greater purpose. He was going to become the judge of the dead. So, yeah, he lost his kingdom on Earth, but what he gained was something eternal. Because he had conquered death himself, Osiris descended to the underworld and became its undisputed ruler. And in doing so, he completely transformed it from a place of endings into a realm of possibility. And this right here, this is where the myth becomes so much more than just a story. Osiris's own personal journey, his death and his rebirth, it literally became the blueprint for every single Egyptian's hope for an afterlife. It shaped their entire culture for thousands of years. Just think about what that means for a second. He becomes the ultimate gatekeeper, right? The bridge between our world and the next. As the just judge, he'd weigh the hearts of souls entering his kingdom. But even more important than that, he was proof. He was living, well, unliving, proof that if he could conquer death, then maybe, just maybe, they could too. So his journey became the one path to eternity. The core belief was this: if you lived a good life, and if you followed all the right rituals when you died, you could follow right in Osiris's footsteps. You too could be judged favorably and be welcomed into a perfect, eternal afterlife. And that's really his legacy when you boil it all down. Osiris isn't a symbol of death. He's the ultimate symbol of life after death. His own personal tragedy was transformed into this universal promise that even when you're facing annihilation, there's always hope for renewal. There's always a path to eternity. The ancient Egyptians created this beautiful, complex story to make sense of their greatest fear. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Here we are in our modern age of science and skepticism. what are our stories? What narratives, whether they're religious or philosophical, or heck, even from movies and books, do we turn to for an answer to that same eternal question? What comes next?